Let there be light, Banbutsu Sozo. And there was light as he willed it. There was a very large explosion of light, and began to spread at a very fast speed. It seems that it would be unending as it just continues to light up the void in which he stood. He watched as the particles of different things clashed and raced towards the nether, and thus, the universe is born. In the very center of the explosion, he stood there, watching, observing and thinking. This is gonna take a long-ass time. He thought dryly as he floated near the middle of the explosion, which has become the hottest place in about everything, but it didn't matter to him because he unaffected by it. And after a few moments, something entered his mind. Light will not work on its own, it needs balance. He muttered to himself as he began to create many plans on his mind in the long term. Separate light and create darkness, the very foundation of the old universe. A female voice said to him in his mind. He opened his eyes and raised an eyebrow. I thought you were sleeping, Kagaya. No, I can't sleep and I won't sleep. Even if it takes me 6 billion years. The woman, named Kagaya, told him, and he quietly snorted to himself while watching the continuous expansion of the explosion, that which will be known in 14 billion years' time as the Big Bang. Staying up with me, eh? And 6 billion years? You counted the time when there is no time? He amusedly asked the woman in his mind, who wanted to slap herself for forgetting that fact. I staying awake is no concern of you, and forgive my miscalculations, I forgot that there is no time yet. Why 6 billion years? That is how long the old universe formed, and it took some 9.4 billion years to form the old world system, and within that 9.6 billion, is the 3.6 billion years that it took for life to emerge. And to think that I forgot that time does not exist yet is an embarrassment for me. She told him with uneasiness on her voice while he merely sighed to himself. This is a timeless universe, everything will stay the same, and when I'm to create time, nothing will remain the same except this place where we are now. The epicenter of the universe, but first, I need to. He trailed off as he saw something. What? Kagaya asked him, wanting to know what happened. So that's how it is, I see, look through my eyes, when I created light, darkness soon followed.
Look at where we are now. In the brightest object in this universe, and look at the edges, there is a barrier of darkness that is waiting to mix with light. I wonder how long has passed after I created light. Unfortunately, time is non-existent yet. He pointed at the barrier of darkness where every light go out before showing up after several million miles, meaning, the universe is still expanding, will continue to do so until he wills it. And unknowingly, something is slowly being formed in that nothingness between the center and the ever-expanding bodies of light. Naruto. Yes. Forgive me. For what? I have forgiven you a long time ago. Our world ended, but it was not your fault, nor mine, but some things are really meant to end. This time, we will decide when things would end. My wife, my son and daughter, they're gone, yes, I miss them, but their memories will live through us. What I'm just wondering is why I gained these powers. I wonder if there is someone out there is looking at us.
I don't know, equals 13 billion years later. Between the new Earth and the Moon equals.
When Naruto established the time and calculated everything, he was still flabbergasted. 13 billion years. 13, yes, it has been 13 billion years since he first created the universe. What he actually thought is that it was merely 6 days, because he is wearing a wristwatch from his old universe, and he saw that only 6 24-hour days has passed, but after her created time in this new universe, his words were, we are 13 billion years older in an instant, wow. And then he thought about what happened moments after he created the universe and remembered what he said. This is gonna take a long ass time indeed, ha ha ha, I hate it when I'm right in that kind of things.
Don't remind me. Remember when those beings were formed by your creation powers in that vast fields of darkness? You once muttered. I wonder, did I create unknown beings unknowingly? And voila, some days later, you saw something near the center of the universe, and I would have probably bashed my head into a wall, but that would have been out of character. Kagaya quipped as Naruto merely sighed as he looked towards the newly formed planet Earth, which is modeled after the original world. But it wasn't where he hoped it would be. It is located several billion light-years away from the center. He initially wanted to place the solar system, as he called it, near the center of the universe, but forgotten because he was building the place he called heaven, within the center of the universe where the day and night cycle does not apply. It was eternally sunrise on one side, eternally noon in the middle area, and eternally sunset on the other side. It would be the refuge of what he would call as angels. I know, but I think it's time to create my first angels. What do you think? Do what you want, Naruto. Still hiding behind that mask as we? Naruto amusedly asked as he vanished from his spot between the new Earth and the Moon before showing up again the center of the universe, or rather, inside of it. Shut it. Naruto laughed at her reply before walking towards his newly built kingdom. But he is not the king, yet. He has no subjects, no people know anything in that place, so it is not officially a kingdom yet. Creation of all things, here we go. In a bright light, 11 figures came out while Naruto smiled. All of them are in age group of 20 to 24, and in those 11, there is only one female. She is the third in the row and she has those unique features, such as having curly blonde hair, green eyes and curvaceous body which would make many people jealous of her. In Naruto's mind, she is the definition of perfection and is proud of his work. The first one in the row is male with different features. He has long silvery hair, similar to Kaguya's, and gray eyes. The second looks the same but has golden hair and green eyes. Much like the third one. They were all Lucifer. That is a good name. Naruto looked to the silver-haired man who is looking straight ahead, with a blank look on his eyes. The same as for the other 10, meaning, they aren't alive yet, they were just statues, but soon, they'll be living things. Michael, yep, that fits him. He looked to the second one before moving on to what he called the perfection of all his creations, which basically the universe and the 11 people in front of him. Gabriel. I don't know why that fits you, Kaguya. What? What do you think, should I name her? Gabriel is fine, in fact, it actually fits her. Kaguya replied while watching what Naruto is doing, which is observing the third person that he created, perfection. That is what they can only think about, though, they are wondering what would happen if they are given life. What would be their emotions? How would they act? So many questions in not so little time. Really? Oh well, what about the next one? Uriel. Sounds fine. Fits his appearance. Then, what should I name this guy? Naruto pointed to the fifth person that he created and began to think about a name, and suddenly, something clicked. Raphael. That's a good name if we are to have all of their names the same with the last syllable. Though Lucifer is a unique one, he has your hair. I know, but yeah, having the rest of them share the same sound in their name's last syllable would be nice. And the only thing to do is to think a name for each one of them. Kaguya said to him while he began to think again while looking on his creations and observing them from top to bottom. Sariel. Yeah, I think I'll name this next guy Sariel. He pointed to the man next to the newly named Raphael before moving to the next one. Regule for this one, then Remiel. Good enough, then next. Why not break from having that L in the end? So, for you, Metatron, that's a good one. Sandalphon for the next one. Wait a minute, they look like the same. Except the height and the facial features, twins, shit. Equals several years later equals, Lilith. Why did you leave Adam? Naruto asked the winged female sitting by the shores of a sea. He sat on a stone chair that he formed on her side. She is a very beautiful woman, with long black hair and gray eyes. She is wearing a silver robe that is hugging her curvaceous body. You know the answer to that, God. She replied with mirth in her voice while Naruto sighed as he looked towards the setting sun in the west. They were silent for several minutes until he spoke again. God? Ha 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 ha, since when did you call me that? And yes, I know the answer, but really? You actually left? You could have come to me first to speak about that. But, it seems you already found the perfect husband for you. That's good. Yes, that's good. He muttered, but she caught what he said and asked. Dad. You speak as if you don't hate Lucy. What's up? She addressed him as Dad. Yes, she is his daughter, by blood. I don't, but don't tell him that. He'd probably come back again in heaven and ask me. Then again, we'll begin to argue again and again. Let me tell you this, I never hated Lucifer. He is still my son, the very first one that I created. He would have been the heir to the throne of heaven if things did not go south and if he did not hasten many things like he did. I have created him as the servant and defender of infinity, and by infinity I meant the so-called infinity of the universe and of my powers. Not that child woman that was born from nothingness. He took that as a sign of rebellion. Plus, when I told them that they are to serve humans, he took that literally and the things went down south. What I meant about serving humans that I will create soon, I meant that their task is to guide them. In all of my angels, he is the one that I favored the most, because he did not blindly follow all my commands. He questioned all of them and I gave him all the answers he needed, but Michael is different, he obeyed me without question. Then, there is Gabriel, she is clueless as hell. As the archangel of awareness and the one that defined beauty, She is not the most aware person ever, period. Promise to me you'll never tell Lucy what I told you about him. Naruto explained to the black-haired woman who was mentioned earlier as his daughter, who smiled to herself. You know I don't break promises, and I promise I won't tell him a single shit. She smiled brightly at him, which made him roll his eyes before chuckling. You really followed your mother's footsteps, damn. The only difference that you have is your hair and eye color and her unique features such as those horns and that middle eye on her forehead. She laughed loudly before leaning to Naruto's lap while he rubbed her smooth and silky hair. No matter what occurs, stay with him. I already blessed your marriage in secret. Make sure to create some grandchildren for us to spoil for later, but damn, I'm sure Lucy would not like that. He felt that she nodded and smiled to himself while looking at the birds that flew above them. Dad, what does marriage mean? I mean, I know it is for man and woman, but I want to know what is it really about, she asked as she looked up towards him. Marriage is a sacred rite, and as I have instituted, a man must leave his father and his mother and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh. And Lucifer did leave, or rather, got pushed out of heaven, but not to join his wife since he hasn't met you yet. Marriage is the very foundation of family and society, but a very strong marriage is needed to create a proper family. It is a lifelong commitment, and therefore, it must be planned properly. But, you must also decide who you will marry because you will be bonded forever in love. However, there is no such thing as perfect marriage, because you will argue and fight, that will happen, it is very common ever since the beginning, but we are strong because our love for each other. That is how marriage works, you decide who is the person you will want to spend your life with. There is no coming out of that. And since death does not even exist yet, I haven't created it, but I will soon. I won't say till death do us part. She chuckled at that as Naruto removed the stone chair and sat on the sand while she leant on his shoulders. You should probably give Adam the proper wife that he needs. But remove all of his memories first, recreate him through and through, she said to him while he nodded. I already thought about that, and your mother did too. I'll see you later, my cute Lilith, and take care of Lucy. I still love him as my son, no matter what happens. He hugged her before he kissed her forehead while Lilith embraced him. While there is no tomorrow, she enjoyed his warmth and the protection that his strong arms provided. I will, and see you later too, Dad. With that, he vanished without any trace, except that lingering warmth that surrounded her. Unknown to them, they will not see each other for thousands of years. Sometime later. Garden of Eden. You are Adam, and this is your wife, Eve. Go forth, you can eat everything in this garden, but, you must not eat the fruit from that tree in the middle of the garden. You must not touch it, or you will surely die. Who told you that you are naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat? Naruto asked as he walked through the garden while listening to the voice of Adam that is hiding behind a tree near him. But inside, he was cursing so much that it might break the world. Humanity failed the test, but they are not fucking ready yet to be tested. Samael, you are the only one who would do this. Not even Lucy would do this, Kagaya, damn it all. The mankind is not ready for this yet. Yet, your ungrateful son disobeyed you, he's worse than Lucifer. Samael disobeyed your command. He left your kingdom for his own purposes while Lucifer wanted only to be in your place and he wanted to be independent. He never disobeyed you. I won't stop you this time. Do what you want as Samael. Kagaya said to him as he walked nearer to the tree of knowledge where Adam is hiding behind it. I will. He replied as he laid his eyes for the first time in years on his wayward son, who has a tail of a reptile from the waist down while his upper body is the same as it was created, except for his wings. There is a huge pair of black wings sprouting from his back and his golden halo is gone from. However, Naruto ignored him for Adam, whose head popped out behind the tree. She gave it to me and I ate it. Naruto closed his eyes while he began to walk again towards the tree and the one on it. How dare you do this, Samael? He said to Samael, who is in the tree glaring at him with his dark and hateful eyes. How dare me? Father, that is a nice question. But, I should be the one asking that question. You know, I did everything you told me and yet, you never gave me anything. It's always them. Why them? And look, Lucifer left while I stayed loyal to you, but then, there is still nothing from you. You are the worst. You don't look at us equally. Samael shouted at him while Naruto chuckled before it turned to soft laughter which angered the fallen angel. Because Lucifer knows the truth. He asked everything I told him to do. He wanted to see every reason for why I told him to do whatever I commanded him.
He did not follow me blindly. He asked questions. Michael blindly followed me, But, he also asked questions, the same for Gabriel and Uriel.
But you, ungrateful brat. You are a fool, you followed me blindly, I don't need that. Free will, you all have that. All of you do, yet, you did not even use it, not once, except when you left the heaven and completely disobeyed and disrespected not only me but also your mother. Did you know, if she was here, you would be dead, and poof, you're a pile of ash. You are very lucky that I was the one who went here. I'm a forgiving and merciful father, but there are things that I cannot tolerate. You are like Adam and Eve who's hiding behind the bushes, you failed my test. I was all testing you. Look at Lucifer, he absolutely failed his test on his limits on how can he bear being commanded by me. He asked me many questions and I answered him with what he needs to know, but his thirst for knowledge and power drove him to what he is now. Also, for your information, I looked and still look to all of you equally as my children, even now. But going back to the topic, he paused before continuing as he gave Samael a piercing gaze that would have put fear into the heart of the mightiest beast or person. Samael, your test was like Lucifer's, but you are the worst. Of those who went through the same test, you don't have patience. You always want to hasten things up and look at yourself now. You are not the Samael that I created 13 billion years ago. You are the Samael that has fallen from everything. And I decree as the Father of heaven and the universe, you, Samael, are hereby sentenced to an eternal banishment from heaven and its realms, and because you have deceived them in the highest degree. Cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust for as long as you live. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. You shall bruise her on the head, and she shall bruise you on the heel. His word is absolute. Samael gritted his teeth while his fangs drew blood in anger and charged towards Naruto, who stood there waiting for him. But Samael was a fool to have done this, because he was pushed out of Eden with a very powerful force and he will never be able to enter that place for eternity. After it was settled, Naruto turned his gaze to the two humans. His gaze was cold as the darkest night and coldest winter, but there is also warmth and peace within those azure eyes. He sighed sadly as he walked towards the place where Adam and Eve are hiding. Come out. Don't be afraid. He called out to the two, and after several minutes, they slowly came out. Naked as they said to him, but they are covered with leaves that used to cover themselves, but he made them proper garments and clothed them in an instant. I can't let this go, because this was supposed to be the start of a new life of harmony between the two of you, but Samael happened and everything went south. There must be a balance between everything. Therefore, Eve, your pain in childbirth will greatly multiply. In pain, you will bring forth children. From this hour, henceforth, you will desire to wrest control from him, and Adam, you will seek to control her. You will fight for dominance over each other. And, Adam, because you have disobeyed the one and only command that I have given you. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil, you shall eat of it for all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall grow for you. And you will eat the plants on the field. By the sweat of your face, you will eat bread till you return to the ground, because from it, you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return. His voice changed a little, but they heard the change and was afraid of what will happen next. It was the downfall of humanity. Eve, you are the mother of all the living in the earth. And behold, the humanity has become like us, knowing what is good from evil and evil from good. You are no longer allowed to take from the tree of life and eat, for it will break any of the remaining semblances of balance in this world. Out I say unto both of you, come and I will bring you away. To the east, where you will cultivate the ground from which you were taken for the rest of your life. Hesitating a bit, Adam and Eve began to walk towards the east, where Naruto has his index finger pointing at before he followed them. God, are you angry at us, and what can we do about it? Eve asked as she turned around to face Naruto, who raised an eyebrow at her before smiling a bit. I can never be angry at you. I was human once, but everything changed in my life. Samael was the first being that I was angry with, and it surprised me, to be honest, but enough of that. And as for your next question, love each other, multiply, live and work hard. Then, you will know the truth at the end of your lives. Go on now, my child, and remember, soon, your redemption will come soon, but it is not today, not for thousands of years when my own blood will shed for the sake of humanity, but be sure to watch as the time goes by. He gave them a fatherly smile, and without any hesitation, the two bowed and moved out of Eden towards the eastern gate, which leads to a large fertile land. There was a reason why he pointed to the east. It was because there is the fertile land for them to use. and when he saw them exited the eastern gate, he called out, "Azazel." A few seconds later, a bright light appeared and it revealed a young man at his 20s with an average build body, black hair with golden bangs and black goatee. And there are also 12 white wings coming from his back. He is wearing a white robe with silver adornments on it. He was floating before landing on the soft grass. He looked towards his father with a questioning gaze. "What is it, old man?" A twitch appeared on Naruto's eyebrows before breathing heavily to calm himself down before he smites the disrespectful brat on his ass. "Guard the eastern gate, will you? Don't let anybody enter from that gate while I'll leave my most powerful sword to guard all the other directions." And that meant I have given the sword a life of its own to do what I bid it before the time comes when the tree will no longer be guarded. Understand? Naruto gave the carefree angel a look that said, "Disobey and I'll smite you in the ass." Not wanting to face his father's wrath, he nodded and flew to guard the eastern gate while Naruto walks back towards the tree of knowledge to secure it from any sort of being that might come after it. He still must look for those creatures he saw after the beginning. Time skip. Approximately 15-30 years later. Greetings Noah. Do you need some help? Naruto, who is wearing civilian clothes, walked towards Noah, who is with his 3 sons working on the ark that he has set them to do. Not that Noah nor his family knows that. Naruto has decided to help them with the building while disguising as a normal man but still look the same as he has for billions of years. Oh yes, I definitely need everyone's help on this one. The man in question is 540 years old. He is wearing a carpenter's clothes with his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth doing what their father had told them to do, but not before waving towards Naruto, who waved back with a smile. "I can see your sons have grown into fine men." Noah smiled before nodding and looking towards his sons. "Yes, they've grown and you have not aged a single day since I met you 200 years ago. I still remember it as if it was yesterday when you met with my father all those years ago," the older-looking man said to him, in which he smiled. "Oh yes, of course. Lamech was a fine man back in those days. He was very much like you. He would be very proud of you," Naruto said with a smile as Noah nodded as they went to work with the construction. Naruto disguised himself as a common man, to meet with Noah years ago when he set the man to build an ark, but Naruto knew that it is nearly impossible for Noah to finish such a massive construction with such little technology that Naruto had when he was young back in the old world. And he also wanted to talk with Noah personally. Not with mere messages in his dreams, though. He also likes to walk on Earth from time to time, instead of sitting in his throne all day long. "Hey Noah, I just wanna ask, how's the family? Are they good?" Naruto asked the older-looking man, who nodded. "They're fine, luckily. Nothing bad is happening right now, unless you count those people who have been harassing us because of me building an ark in a place far away from the sea. Other than that, we're fine. I have faith that the Lord made me do this for a purpose," Noah said while Naruto merely smiled at him. "My friend, everything has a purpose." Some years later, just before noon. The day is very peaceful. It was nearly half day and everything is very calm. It was a usual day for everyone, except for one family, from the line of Seth. Noah's family knew what day it is. It is time. The building of the ark just finished a few days ago, and they know it is coming. The pairs of each kind of animal that walks, crawls and flies have already arrived. But people continued to mock and ridicule them as they walk past them. But Noah remains unfazed. He knew there is a purpose to everything, but he has been thinking lately of the ones coming with him in the ark when the flood begins, namely his family, and he can't out something from his head, Naruto. Noah knew that something is wrong with his friend. He didn't feel normal. He can't even feel his presence when he's nearby. He doesn't know what is with his friend, nor he is not sure if he will ever find out. And the person that knows more than he does is his ancestor, Methuselah, who lives near the mountaintop. But even he said that Naruto is someone who you can never comprehend. He is mystery incarnate, but he also said that Naruto is the only hope of this world. "I wonder," Noah muttered as he walks towards the ark where his family is waiting for him, and he also can't seem to find his friend. It was a very fine day, nice clear sky, a perfect day to enjoy and relax. "Look, does it look like it will rain?" "Ah ha ha ha." A random man shouted to Noah. But this was ignored as he is very used to it. And karma was quick to come. The clear sky suddenly turned dark and thunder began to roar as lightning began to strike. It was at this moment that Noah knew, it is time. He then sprinted towards where the ark is, so that he may close the doors and prepare for the worst. The ark was built at the foot of a mountain and surrounded by a forest in the middle of a clearing. therefore, all the materials needed are there. When Noah arrived, he saw his 3 sons facing a large group of men with weapons. His son standing before the doors while the group has gathered near the edge of the clearing as the heavy rain continues to pour down on them. He then ran to his sons and asked, "What is happening here? Who are these men, Shem, Japheth, Ham?" Noah asked but his sons didn't know. "We don't know, father, they just came here, demanding that they should be in the ark," Shem answered in the middle of the heavy rain that is just continuously getting stronger by the second. Noah noticed this and knew that he had to do this. "Go inside the ark, I'll be right behind you," he ordered to his sons who did what he said. They ran back up to the ark. Ham turned around to his father asked, "What are you going to do, father?" "Just go." "All right, I'll be there," Noah replied, and reluctantly, Ham ran towards the ark, leaving his father in the rain. "Whoever you are, leave. This ark does not belong to you," Noah said to men that gathered in front of him as the downpour continues to become stronger to bear. "And what belongs in that ark? Those animals that we eat? Your family?" "No, old man, it belongs to men," one of them shouted as the rest roared in agreement. Noah knew that he is outnumbered here. He can fight, but not this many, and he has only 2 options, to run back to the ark, but can get chased down, or fight to protect the ark. "You have a third option, my friend." Noah recognized the voice. It was the voice of his oldest friend and he turned around to see that Naruto is standing behind him, with a small smile on his never-aging face. The old man was shocked to see that Naruto is not affected by the rain. His clothes isn't even wet. It is as if the rain does not touch him at all. He then saw that the rain avoids his friend completely. "Go inside the ark, Noah. Leave this to me. Be with your family, they need your guidance." Slowly, the old man began to walk towards the ark, with one question on his mind. "Who are you, Naruto?" After some moments, Noah arrived at the entrance of the ark, which can be only accessed by climbing many steps that lead to the deck of the ark. "Now, for you imbeciles, this is what you get, Sweeten, Dai Bakusu Shoha." Suddenly, there was a gigantic amount of water appeared with crushing waves that swept through the area, tall waves that destroyed the trees in the area. And this also effectively killed all the men that gathered outside the ark. As for the ark, it was then carried by the water from Naruto's jutsu, and atop the ark, Noah stood, staring at the back of his friend as Naruto stood atop the waves. In a blink, Naruto vanished from his spot, and appeared behind Noah. "My old friend, to answer your question," Noah turned around to see Naruto standing behind him with a benevolent smile on his face. "I'm God after all, equals some 1,000 years later. 7th heaven. The palace of the universe. Council room equals. This is the highest level of heaven. Just like how Naruto made them in the beginning, nothing has changed." The council of heaven was summoned by Naruto, which consists of the 10 seraphs, the 4 great seraphs, and him, being God and the leader of the heaven. He is also currently sitting at the back of the council table. His chair is different from the rest, as it is larger compared to the other chairs and has more design and runes written around it. "Father, we've received some disturbing reports across southern Europe and the Middle East," Michael reported to his father who looked at him while holding a piece of parchment containing the reports. "About churches being attacked by devils, killing the clergy, the lives and protects those places," the right hand of Naruto said while the latter turned down to read the notes written before looking up to his children again. "Are you sure? I was a witness in one of the attacks that were repelled." It was Uriel that spoke this time. "Are they looking for war, or what? And what of the fallen angels under Azazel?" Naruto asked the council members for an answer. "We don't know, father, as we need more evidence about that, and in regards with the fallen, they've been very quiet as of late. I've also heard they've taken up residence in the underworld, which created a growing conflict between the 2 races." Raphael said to Naruto, who sat there quietly with a frown to think about things. "Is the gate to purgatory down at the 3rd heaven as secured? We can't have any stray being entering through that door?" Naruto asked while the one of the 4 great seraphs answered, his second daughter, Gabriel. "Everything is good, father," she answered with Naruto nodding as he began to think about other things. "What do you think of the current situation, Kagaya-chan?" Naruto closed his eyes and asked his wife. "It seems like the calm before the storm," she answered, making Naruto raise his eyebrows. "Why do you think it is like that?" "Churches being attacked by devils, and clergymen and women dying in the process. That's why. And, you don't go into someone's home uninvited without picking a fight." But most of it is just my gut feeling. Besides that, you've already finished making those things you call sacred gear, right? Whatever happens, you can use those items. I share your feeling, and yes, I finished making the sacred gears. You remember the first sacred gear I made, right? Yeah, that spear that can kill gods, except you of course, what do you call it? True something. True Longinus. I named it after Longinus, you know, the one that stabbed the side of my son all those years ago. Yeah, that day during the year 30 of the 1st century AD, funny, it feels like it was yesterday. I know the feeling. Anyway, let's go back to our current topic. Calm before the storm. Hey, I don't like this. Besides, there is another problem, and you know what that is. Yeah, Trihexa, a being born from your infinite powers, just like Great Red and Ophis-chan. I still need to discuss that Trihexa matter with our children. I'll leave that to you. Kaguya's tone meant that they will continue their talk later, and so they ended their current conversation. When Naruto opened his eyes, he saw all the council, his children, looking at him. What's wrong, father? Michael asked the elder blonde. Nothing, I was just talking to your mother. The angels got a look of understanding. They knew Kaguya is inside Naruto, and when they talk, it's by conversing telepathically. I see, and father, we also have another news. Raphael, if you would. Michael turned to his younger brother who nodded. Dad. There are some scout reports that shows the White Dragon Emperor, Albion, and the Red Dragon Emperor, Diedrich, fighting, by the looks of it, to death or until one of them surrenders. The seriousness in the voice of Raphael made Naruto think that this is quite a serious matter. Where? 20 miles, south of the ruins of ancient Babylon. While there is no problem with them fighting near Babylon, considering the city itself is sealed in my pocket dimension and the ruins were merely there for humans to find. The thing is, humans live in that area and they are in danger of being collateral damage. Those two idiots need to stop their stupid rivalry. Damn it, surprise me, is there any other news? Naruto was only joking with that last part, but he did not expect the answer that he got from Uriel. The beast that you've been telling us, Trihexa, is rampaging across the Arabian desert. What? Naruto shouted in shock. For the love of Kaguya-chan, what the hell is happening in this world? How many died? Naruto asked Uriel, who sighed sadly before answering him. Many humans and some of our own died as the beast continues its rampage across the land. And we are doing our best to contain it in the desert. Uriel said as Naruto scratched the back of his head. Leave the beast to me. I will seal it somewhere safe soon. But yes, contain it within the borders of the desert. Don't let it touch any more human settlement. That order was final and Uriel nodded before bowing out to do the task. All right. Any more? Suddenly, the door of the council room opened to reveal a messenger angel, with a tired look on his face, and sweat continues to pour down on his face. What is the meaning of this? Sandalphon asked, demanded the messenger. I'm sorry, sir, but I deliver some urgent news, the angel said as he managed to catch his breath. Let us hear it, my child, Naruto said to the messenger, who managed to compose himself before speaking. Heavenly Father, the devils declared war on us. Asmodeus appeared inside the Sistine Chapel and killed the priests inside. Luckily, the Pope wasn't there. We found out after a few hours later when the Pope and his trusted cardinals entered the chapel. Even the Swiss guard didn't know anything, and they are the ones that are guarding the entrance to the chapel. There was a message written in blood on the floor and it states, Father, your time has come to an end. This is Asmodeus and the four of us sends our regards. After the messenger angel said this, all the members of council were outraged, especially Naruto, but he didn't show it. As always, he remained calm and collected. Why now? Don't ask that question. Now, don't show mercy as you have done when they first rebelled. They are still our children. I cannot just do it. You are the embodiment of purity and your pure heart is what made me fall in love with you. But this time, teach your children a lesson. I'll try, but if they don't give me a choice, well, I don't know what will happen. Trust yourself, and don't worry, I'm always here for you. I know, and I'm here for you as well. Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. You have 5 days to prepare for war. On the 5th, remember, we go to war. The rest of you, prepare for the war and warn all the levels of heaven. Dismissed. Naruto's words are final, and such. All the angels in the room bowed and vanished in a flash of white light, leaving Naruto in the council room. To think that almost everything I've written in that book happened already. Damn. I can really see glimpses of the future. Naruto muttered, before standing up to prepare for battle himself. Well, this is your world, and all that happens can be connected to what you willed or what you want, Kagaya said as she watched Naruto walk out of the council room to his private chambers in the 7th heaven, where no one has entered except for him. Don't remind me. Hey, what are you going to do with Red? Great Red? Who else? What about him? He's a nice companion, although, he doesn't get along well with Office-chan. Are you bringing him with you in the upcoming war? Maybe, if the time to face Trihexa has come, Naruto said as he entered his private chambers and went to lie down on his bed with Kagaya, in all her glory, appearing beside Naruto who closed his eyes to get some rest before preparing. I wish we could stay like this forever, he muttered, and he got a mild slap in the face. Idiot, if we stay like this, then the world will end. Geez, I'm just joking. Ouch, come on, Kagaya-chan. What the hell? Naruto asked as he got a pinch on the sides by the white-haired goddess as they cuddled each other, and rare moments like this are treasured by them, so they like to make everything count. 5 days later. 3rd heaven equals, today is a sad day for us. 5 days ago, Asmodeus massacred the people inside the Sistine Chapel, in the Vatican. He left a message for me. A declaration of war. Naruto said as he stood over a podium that oversees the entirety of heaven's forces. As mentioned the Book of Revelations, the number of the heavenly host equals the number of every single piece of sand in a seashore. Naruto is wearing his armor. It is a very beautiful armor covered in gold with blue outlines and marks. It also has a red tail that acts like the lower part of a cape, but the armor itself is not made of gold but made from a very powerful metal that Naruto used to make all of the weapon-class sacred gears, such as the true Longinus, and the holy swords. It is also the same metal that can be made by using the power of the 6 paths. The armor is simple, aesthetic, and regal-looking armor, and above the armor, is a white royal cloak with a fur collar. Above Naruto's head is a golden halo, much like all the angels in heaven, and on his back, you can see 12 sets of golden wings, twice the amount that Michael has. And in case you're wondering, no angel, besides the Azazel, Lucifer, Leviathan, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, the 10 seraphs and the 4 great seraphs have seen Naruto's face, and to those who don't see his face, all they see is a bright shining light that covers his face. They can't even see the outline of his head. Today, we will face them in a war that no one has ever seen before, and what they want is to usurp us of our place here in heaven, and for that, we shall show them no mercy. Naruto said to raise the morale of the angels, and it did. They all shouted in agreement as Naruto stood where he was, flanked by the 4 great seraphs. What do you think will happen, father? Michael asked his father silently. It depends, as I've never written anything about the battle that is about to come. Now, go to your forces and be ready at any moment. The 4 bowed and flew down their own respective forces as the heavenly host has been divided into 5 main different divisions led by the 4 great seraphs, with Naruto heading the 1st division. This is also while having 10 smaller divisions with the 5, led by the 10 seraphs. The things I need to do, there's so many. You don't say, but I know you can pull through it. I know you will. Thank you, for being with me for all these years. Idiot, I will always be with you, whatever happens. Hee, I can feel you're blushing, love you too. It has been 5 years since Asmodeus massacred the Sistine Chapel. It has been 5 years since the devils declared war against the heaven. It has been 5 years since Naruto mobilized the heavenly host, and it has been 5 years since they last heard the 2 heavenly dragons fighting against each other. 5 years and the forces of heaven and hell are still fighting each other, across the entire world. And it has been 3 years since the fallen angels entered the war under the banner of Azazel, of the Grigori. The 2-way war became a 3-way war, and no one expected that to happen, not even Naruto, who was busy planning and fighting devils that are trying to enter Italy. Specifically, the walled city of Vatican, enclosed by the city of Rome. Though Naruto has never gone inside the Vatican to talk with the leaders of the Catholic Church as God. Whenever he goes there, he appears as an angel, or a priest, but never as God himself, except when he is underneath the Sistine Chapel. For reasons unknown, but that's how it is. In the war against the fallen angels, Naruto learned that it started in the underworld, the devils, and the fallen ones is fighting for territory in the underworld. At first, there were small skirmishes in some parts in the underworld. Then, it became a full-blown war between the fallen and the devils. It wasn't until some time later when some of the scouts of the 4th Division under Uriel were attacked by fallen angels while scouting the underworld under direct orders from Naruto himself. At first no one knew of what happened, but when Uriel sent another scouting regiment to the underworld, they've discovered that the first scouts were killed and robbed by fallen angels, and they only knew it was the fallen ones is because of the black feathers that scattered across the area, and some dead fallen as well, meaning, the scouts did not die without a fight. Angered by this, Uriel immediately ordered several battalions of his division to create a base just outside the territory of the Grigori, as what they call themselves now, to prepare for any attacks by the fallen. They've also garrisoned the entrance to heaven via the purgatory in the deeper parts of the underworld, as it is the fastest way to enter heaven and the easiest. Naruto did not know about this until Uriel himself reported it to him that the fallen angels attacked the garrison in the purgatory but were repelled by the greater force of heaven at the time. It was at that time when Naruto decided to limit the access to heaven via the purgatory. Even the white pearly gates of heaven were sealed shut and Peter was ordered to not let anyone in. Meaning, no human soul, even if they were meant to be there, can enter heaven, not until Naruto revokes his order to Peter. The burning angels didn't find this surprising, because the pearly gates can be breached easily, even with Peter and a legion of angels guarding it, if it's open, and what they mean by open is that only one key has been used to lock it, and there are 2 keys to the kingdom of heaven. After receiving the news of the fallen angels attacked the 4th division under Uriel, he had Raphael's 5th division to support Uriel's 4th and Gabriel's 3rd. And speaking of the 3rd division under Gabriel, her division is currently fighting the devils outside of Israel. Just like with Rome, Gabriel is protecting the outside of Israel to prevent the devils from reaching Jerusalem. 5 years since the Great War started. Underneath the Sistine Chapel Naruto is currently meditating in lotus position at the center of the marble floor underneath the Capella Sistina, as this is where he talks with the 4 great seraphs in the secret, and he also sometimes lives here when he goes to earth for travels here and there. He liked the place, it was serene and quiet like it was in another dimension. Why did the fallen angels attack our scouts? Azazel is not the person to order things like that. Naruto wondered as he sat underneath the chapel. It's probably not him, you know they have a warmonger with them, Kagaya answered, to which Naruto replied. Kokebiel. Even before they fell, he's been wanting to have war with Lucifer and the devils because he hates them with passion. When they fell, it gave him the chance to wage war without your orders. He took this chance to fight against you as well. I wonder if Azazel knew about this. He probably learned about it when it was too late to stop, and now, you have a 3-way war. Yeah, Kokebiel likes to hide things, he has shown the tendencies before, when they were young. I know, but someone's coming, Michael. Naruto was right. A few moments later, Michael appeared in a bright light, wearing his armor, a panicked look on his face. Naruto beckoned the archangel closer to him. What is it, my child? Naruto asked the commander of the 2nd Division and the right hand of Naruto. Father, the 2nd Division was engaging with the devils and the fallen angels at the Sahara, and luckily, we are far from any civilization, but there is a problem, Michael said, which made Naruto raise his eyebrows. What is it? We've kind of interrupted the 2 heavenly dragons in their usual duel, and as such, they became angry and they began to attack our forces, the devils, and the fallen ones. What on the 7 heavens happened? And why on earth are you fighting in Sahara? Naruto asked, a bit exasperated. I don't know, and Leviathan was there. She was leading the devils in the area, and most likely, she went away to contact Lucifer and the others. In the fallen angels' side, Barakiel is leading them, and I'm sure he went on to call Azazel himself when the dragons attacked us all. It is better if you come there and face them. Michael said as Naruto hummed to himself, before standing up and his armor appearing again. His halo began to shine brightly as he nodded to Michael, who vanished. Naruto's 24 golden wings appeared on his back and he vanished with a flash of light. Somewhere in the Sahara Desert Naruto appeared above the large battlefield over the desert. And Michael's words proved true, indeed, he saw the 2 heavenly dragons fighting all the 3 factions. And it seems that they have set aside their difference as they joined forces to fight off the 2 of the most powerful dragons in existence, capable of withstanding the Satans, as far as Naruto can see, with the 4 great Satans fighting the White Dragon Emperor and the Red Dragon Emperor on almost equal ground, with the 2 dragons slowly gaining advantage, slowly, because Azazel and Barakiel and Michael are also fighting the 2 dragons. But this won't last long. Naruto knew how powerful the 2 dragons are, but compared to Ophis and Great Red, they won't hold much. Now, how the hell do I approach the battle? Any ideas? You have two. It's either releasing a very powerful wave that will attract the attention of everyone here, or by just appearing near them. I'll probably go to the first idea. That's better and safer. True to his word, Naruto released a small blast of his power. By small, he meant a blast that is powerful enough to make much lesser being bow before him. Well, he is God after all. And as such, all the attention of everyone went to him. All the angels bowed, while the fallen angels and devils made a step back in fear. They knew it was God. Those 24 golden wings made a statement, and that massive holy aura reeking from him made many of the devils sweat in fear. After all these years, since Lucifer's rebellion, however, only a few can see his face, and they are the four great Satans, Azazel, and Michael. To the others, it is as if they are staring directly at the sun. The two heavenly dragons, however, looked at the new arrival with a bit of happiness. They also knew who it was, and they were looking forward to fighting him. Naruto then vanished from where he was and suddenly appeared at the front of Azazel, who just stared at his back that is sprouting 24 wings. Lucifer, Beelzebub, Leviathan and Asmodeus went on guard, while Michael smiled. Father, old man. Naruto ignored them in favor of the two powerful dragons in front of them. Care to join the battle, Kami-sama? The red one, Diedrich, taunted Naruto, who merely rolled his eyes before stretching out his right arm. Shinra Tensei, Naruto muttered, and the two heaven dragons were forced back by a very powerful amount of gravity that pushed them to the ground several meters away, much to the shock of many, as they've never seen God fight someone, or better yet, use his powers besides giving blessings or creating miracles. Damn old man, never seen you do that before. Azazel whistled from behind. The four great Satans silently agreed, even Michael did. Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet, Naruto replied, as then flew towards the location of the two dragons, who just managed to stand up and went back to hover above the ground as they watched Naruto charge at them. The two prepared for a clash, and they were lucky that they did, because Naruto summoned the Dragon Slayer of St. George. Holy Sword. Ascalon. The Dragon Slayer appeared in Naruto's right hand and clashed with Diedrich's claws. Being a sword made to kill dragons, it began to burn through Diedrich's scales as Naruto continued flash from one point to another as he gave a barrage of slashes throughout Diedrich's body. Meanwhile, Albion began molding energy in his abdomen, to breathe a fire stream, of course. Back to Diedrich and Naruto. The battle is going very intense, with Diedrich attacking Naruto with his claws, tail, and body, with occasional fire breathing that Naruto countered with Amaterasu to eat the flames of the Red Dragon Emperor, much to Diedrich's shock. Boost. One of Diedrich's abilities that he developed over the course of their rivalry is to multiply his powers. Interesting ability, huh? Your power increased by half. Let's see what you can do, Naruto said as he dodged a fire stream that came from behind, meaning, it was from Albion, and Naruto noticed something in the white one's fire. It has a unique blend of venom that Naruto must be an original ability, Naruto thought as he went to create some distance between him and the two heavenly dragons, intending to separate them or incapacitate one to focus on another, all while the armies of angels, devils, and fallen angels watched. It's a bad idea to stay here, I just know it, Azazel thought as he watched the intense battle with sweat pouring down to his face. Those flames of Diedrich are in a different kind of hot. Who to separate, Diedrich or Albion? Whoever you want, they are equal in power anyway. Thanks. Senpo. Myojinman, Futo. Naruto created 10 Torii gates that pinned Albion to the ground, with another one to pin his head down. Not taking any chances, Naruto also used the adamantine sealing chains and created a barrier around Albion so no one can interfere with their battle once Naruto is finished with Diedrich. Diedrich, come at me, Naruto shouted to the Red Dragon Emperor while dismissing Ascalon in favor of using something more powerful. Boost. Diedrich shouted as he increased his powers by half again, and then, with full speed, he charged towards Naruto with his head first, most likely using his penetrate skill that allows him to penetrate all skills. But this is God we are talking about here, therefore. Susanoo. That is but a whisper that sent chills to everyone, and it was heard throughout the area, an ominous whisper that heralded judgment. Out of the blue, Naruto was surrounded by a huge humanoid being. It was clad in blue flaming robes and ornate heavy armor, much like to an armor of a shogun in battle. The helmet with mask covers the whole face with only its shining eyes as visible, but the tengu-like nose and the appendage on its chin that is like a pharaoh's fake beard are the most prominent features of its face. 2 demonic horns on the head. A pair of wings behind, and one of its notable features is that this humanoid being has 6 arms. The last 2 arms come from the side while the main 2 are like normal arms. They come from the shoulder. The bottom arms carry 2 spectral swords within its sheaths. One of the middle arms are quite different. The right arm has a second right hand which then holds a sake jar, while the left arm is quite normal but it holds an ethereal shield. The main arms hold nothing, but if someone would notice the left gauntlet, it holds a bow but it was folded. Where the arrows come from, they can only imagine it. The right arm is pretty much normal, similar to the left, though, it does not have a bow on its gauntlets. They saw Naruto floating within the pentagon-shaped attachment on the forehead area of the helmet. Diedrich did not expect such a thing, but he continued his charge. However, Naruto merely had his shield from one of the Susanoo arms block Diedrich's charge, which it did, much to the Red Dragon's surprise, and the others as well. With the Susanoo stopping Diedrich's attack, Naruto then used the shield to bash the dragon's head, then the abdomen, followed by a sword strike which cut through the flesh of the Red Dragon Emperor, and with attack came a very powerful wave. Diedrich moves back to avoid any other damage from Naruto's Susanoo. He then attacked Naruto with a stream of his special flame that destroys his enemies until there is nothing left. The blonde god then formed another version of his Susanoo. Instead of having 6 arms, it only has 2, with a greatsword as a weapon. It still has its wings, and the armor remained the same. Naruto had his Susanoo slash through the flame to disperse it, and he then charged to Diedrich, who did the same, and they clashed again with the Red Dragon trying to use its immense strength to push Naruto's Susanoo, but failed with Naruto suddenly vanished, before appearing behind Diedrich and kicked the dragon, who crashed to the ground, some distance away. Diedrich, what on earth happened to your head to attack the armies that are fighting here? Naruto asked as he dismissed Susanoo and flew down towards Diedrich's location. The dragon looked at him before answering. What else? We are dragons. We are prideful creatures. Now enough talking. Diedrich shouted as he managed to stand up and breathe fire again towards Naruto, who used Shinra Tensei to disperse them. I'm getting annoyed by this. Don't you need a dragon's soul to complete those 2 sacred gears that you made? This is a fine chance. You're facing one of the heavenly dragons. Their abilities are very powerful and useful for one of those gears you made. Yeah, nice idea. Forgive me, Diedrich, however, I can't let you and Albion rampage across the world like mindless beasts, in the name of your rivalry or whatnot. Enough is enough, Naruto muttered, but he is sure Diedrich heard him. Ha! What are you talking about? This. Come forth. The Holy Spear of Destiny. True Longinus, Polar Knight Longinus Chakravartin. In a flash of bright light, a beautiful jeweled spear appeared in Naruto's right hand, followed by 7 bright orbs that rotated around Naruto, and those 7 orbs have the same appearance, so no one knew what they contain. All the devils, angels, and fallen angels knew what weapon Naruto currently wields. They all witnessed the crucifixion of the Son of God all those years ago, and it was that spear that pierced Jesus' side, which made the weapon much more powerful than any weapon they know. Azazel, who studied the sacred gear system under Naruto's nose, thought of it as the greatest bug in Naruto's system. Not that the fallen angel knew that Naruto made everything in purpose, nor he will ever know. Balinayaka Ratana. Naruto pointed his spear towards Diedrich, who prepared for an attack. And a few moments later, there was a gathering of powerful energy at the tip of the spear, and then, a very large beam of light fired from the tip that pierced Diedrich's scales and impaled him to the ground. Soon, the beam-turned spear exploded in a powerful blast. Blood then came pouring out of Diedrich's jaws, but it was not enough to kill him as he managed to stand up to give one last clawed attack to Naruto, but it was too late. Senpo. Myojinman, Futo. Diedrich was pinned to ground as Naruto summoned a red, claw-shaped gauntlet with yellow accents. Futon. Chudama Rasen Shuriken. Naruto created a massive Rasen Shuriken that he threw to Diedrich's exposed abdomen, and when it hit its target, it exploded and caused Diedrich to shout in agony as thousands upon thousands of wind blades cut through his body. Everyone heard the howling wind that is coming from the Rasen Shuriken, as well as Diedrich's shout of agony. Sacred Gear. Absorb. Naruto stretched his left arm that has the gauntlet on, and suddenly, it began to pull something from Diedrich, and the dragon noticed it. What are you doing? All of the beings in the area heard the panicked shout of the Welsh dragon. Azazel recognized the gauntlet, as he has seen Naruto made it a very long time ago, and he was told that day that it needs a dragon soul to utilize its powers, and now, he is currently witnessing the day that the Red Dragon Emperor got sealed inside a sacred gear. Absorbing your soul. Those were the last words that Diedrich heard because that was the moment his soul was sealed inside a sacred gear. It was the day that the Welsh dragon's physical existence died. Sacred gear. Seal. The red gauntlet was now sporting green inscriptions and the green jewel at the forearm began to glow brightly, before Naruto dismissed the gear, straight into the sacred gear cycle, to whoever is the lucky one to be born with it. Can't let anyone get access to Diedrich's body, so mind if I borrow your jutsu, Kagaya-chan? Sure, it's yours now anyway. Thanks. Naruto stretched his left arm, and a rod of weaponized bone appeared. He then fired it to the lifeless body of Diedrich, disintegrating it and turning it into a pile of ash. Much to the shock of many, that was a certain kill technique, and no one would want to be subjugated by that technique. To some, it was very cruel of Naruto or God, but those who thought of that are only devils and fallen angels. Even Azazel felt a bit bad for Naruto doing that, turning the Red Dragon Emperor into a mere pile of ash. Now then, Albion. Let's give him a chance to fight. Naruto looked to the White Dragon Emperor who glared at him. Release. Naruto released the bindings that are pinning Albion, and the vanishing dragon did not take any moment to charge at him with full strength. However, Naruto saw this, so. Senpo Mokuton. Shin Susenju. Naruto used Hashirama's jutsu that created a titanic, many-handed wooden statue. It possesses an immense strength that withstood Albion's charge. Mokuton. Mokuryu no Jutsu. The wood dragon atop the head of the statue on which Naruto stood grew larger and bound Albion to the ground. The wood dragon then bit Albion's neck to absorb his energy to render him incapacitated. What did you do to my rival? Albion demanded to Naruto, who saw nothing's wrong with answering the question, answered. I sealed his soul inside one of the sacred gears that I made, boosted gear. That way, you idiots will no longer fight each other recklessly. Damn you. Albion shouted, being a heavenly dragon, he is still a being of immense power and managed to break through the wood dragon, by using his special venom that dissolves the very existence of many things. Though, there are certain beings that make this skill ineffective, Naruto, for instance. Good job, however, as I said to Diedrich, I cannot let the two of you rampage anymore, therefore, true Longinus. Kahabate Ratana. Multiple warrior-like beings appeared and began to attack Albion continuously, nearly overwhelming him, but he managed to stand on and fight. Forgive me Albion, but, remember, you and Diedrich are destined to fight for ages. Senpo. Myojinman, Futo. Same as earlier, Albion was pinned down by red torii gates this time, without the adamantine sealing chains. Chojo Kabutsu. The arms of the wooden statue then began their vicious assault with a continuous barrage of punches to pummel the vanishing dragon. All this while Naruto summoned a pair of white dragon wings on his back, with 8 energy feathers that seemed dormant. Albion, we will see each other again soon. Sacred gear. Absorb. Albion felt it, he shouted in agony as Naruto absorbs his soul into the sacred gear. Everyone watched as they saw Albion, the White Dragon Emperor slowly fell to the ground, lifeless. With Naruto, he saw the energy feathers on his back began to glow in light blue, meaning, it was a success and Albion's soul is powering up the sacred gear. Divine dividing. Naruto then dismissed the sacred gear, in the same way, Naruto did to the boosted gear, to the sacred gear cycle, to whoever is lucky to be born with that gear with them. Naruto then jumped from the wooden statue that vanished in an explosion of smoke as he hovered above Albion's body. Jinten. Genkei Hikari no Jutsu. Naruto used the Tsuchikage's special jutsu to eradicate Albion's body into minute particles of dust. The reaction of the others is the same when Naruto obliterated Diedrich's body earlier. Sighing to himself, Naruto then flew back where Michael, Azazel and the 4 great Satans were so that he can meet with them. As soon as he approached them, he dismissed the true Longinus. This time, inside his treasury, for some reasons that he wants to keep to himself. Landing softly on the ground, the leaders of the other faction went on guard. Naruto saw this and calmed them down. Calm down, there has been enough fighting here, recuperate in one day, we may reach the end of this war.